Hello, everyone. My name is Xu Chen. Today, me and my teammates will introduce the risk management and precaution measures in project contract. This is our outline. There are four parts of this presentation. The first part is the background. The second, we will analyze about the common features in project contract management. Then we will talk about the precaution measures in project contract. The last part, we will analyze the application in EPC contract. Let's begin to talk about the background. As we all know, construction project contract is a kind of economic contract, which is a branch of the whole contract management system. Specifically, it refers to the contract signed by the construction unit and the survey, design, and construction material supplier unit to complete certain construction project tasks. We know the larger the project, the higher the requirements for contract management of the project. For project contract management is an effective way to reduce our project cost, to improve economic benefits, to prevent economic risks, and also to ensure project qualities. Therefore, contract management is very important in project contract. Contract management can concern the contractual relationship between the parties through legal means and resolve illegal contract disputes, reduce experience risks, and also can improve economic efficiency. This is why we choose to analyze the project contract. We should do three things: understand, identify, and find. We think this is our logic. So our goal is to fully understand the characteristics of project contract, and then we should be able to identify risks of a project contract. After understanding and identify, we should to find some measures to prevent risks. So let's begin to the second part, which is common features in project contract.
Hello, my name is Chen Huimi. In part 2, I will introduce common features in project contract management. At present, the project contract management is increasingly standardized and the management level is also constantly improving. It presents some characteristics. First, the primary objectives of the project contract management. Construction project contract refers to the contract signed by the construction unit and the investigation, design, and the construction material supply unit to complete a certain construction project. Due to the lack of corresponding design data at the time of bidding, contractors usually offer higher price after considering risk. Among the three elements of project management: cost, construction period, and quality, for the project owner, it is very important to balance the importance of the three elements to ensure the realization of the three objectives of the project. Second, the formation process of the contract. International engineering construction project is usually selected by the owner after the feasibility study of the project and the bidding. The relevant contract text is usually prepared on the basis of model issued by the international organization and combined with the characteristics of domestic laws and the projects. Third, long life cycle and the variability of contract. The long contract period is determined by the particularity of the construction project. The project contract not only includes the construction period, but also includes the bidding and the contract negotiation, as well as the warranty period. So it is generally at least 2 years, and the long one can be up to 5 years or more. At the same time, due to the interference events inside and outside the project process, the contract changes frequently. In the process of project implementation, there are often design changes or contract terms modification. The implementation of contracts must be constantly adjusted according to the changed conditions. Fourth, consciousness of claim and risk in contract management. There are many contract documents and strict contract terms in construction projects. Contractors are required to strictly abide the provisions of contract to implement the project and often encounter claim points in the implementation of the contract. In some normal construction process, in the process of project implementation, according to the instructions of government departments, owners and contractors' senior management or on-site management, the project schedule is usually taken as the first element, and the relevant change claim work is operated after the event according to the industry regulations. In large-scale international engineering construction projects, special claim and risk management working groups are usually set up, and many projects employ international well-known claim companies to help them with claim management. These are the 4 common features in project contract management. Next, my partner will introduce part 3.
Hi, my name is Xiaxin. In part 3, I'd like to talk about precautionary measures of the project contract from contractor side. Firstly, I'll start with a brief introduction about benefits of taking precautions for the contractor. Then, the precautionary measures can be divided into 2 phases. During the contract planning and before signing the contract, I'll elaborate these procedures in the following presentation. In general, there are 2 types of risks in the project contract, objective and subjective. The objective risk cannot handle with human hands, while the subjective risk is man-made and could be controlled by man. When certain risks lead to dispute for both parties, the project contract is the only binding document that could be referred. In this situation, contractor normally at an equal side lead to strengthen risk management of project contract to survival and development. Taking precautionary measures seem to be a good way to conduct proactive defense. Then come to the first phase, conduct risk analysis during contract planning. The main purpose in this stage is that in terms of coming up with each risk, need to be identified whether opportunities exist. This means that contractor should deploy analysis across business units and enterprise functional units from internal and external scope in order to forecast lots of uncertainties. After that, contractor can transfer and limit risks before signing the contract, help to have better oversight of contract management as well. Here are the main risk sources in the contract. The first one is regarding the pricing and the payment term. As one of core elements in the contract, there are 3 typical pricing methods. Different pricing modes have various payment terms, which means need to be identified risks more and more carefully. The second one is involved phased procedures and related duration time in the project contract. Any delay or a tight construction schedule may pose a great risk to the contractor. Moreover, all the losses incurred due to delays may deprive the contractor's right to claim. The third and fourth ones, unexpected events, forecasting, and clauses of claim and disputes are related to the judgment of practical experience. Lots of uncertainties need to be considered in the professional way to identify risks accurately. The last one is about contractors' inherent weakness. For instance, easily make concession during pre-contract negotiation may cause huge losses later. The mandatory provisions from the owner side, contractors need to consider the long-term effects as well. Based on previous analysis, then come up with strategies as precautionary measures: accept, share, avoid, and reduce. According to the occurrence, frequency, and amount of damage, as well as the rate from low to high respectively, contractor can develop related strategies to control its identified risks. For instance, leveraging insurance company to accept corresponding risk will show incentives for partners to reduce risks, or collaborate with other organizations for sharing risks, or once the expected risk may suffer huge losses, reasonably avoid strategy should be deployed. The second phase is before signing the project contract. In this stage, contractors should review contract terms carefully. Besides ensuring the legal contract relationship between both parties, contractor need to check the completeness of the owner's approval process, confirming no discordant and ambiguous clauses here, since this approval process seems as the final result in the project. This is all from me. Thank you very much.
Okay, after the previous partners' discussion on the project management contract, our part mainly talks about how to apply it to EPC contract, which includes characteristics of EPC contract risks, and measures to deal with EPC contract risk. About the EPC contract, as we mentioned before, general projects are characterized by clear objectives, clear legal provision in the implementation process, variable life cycle, and some characteristics of claims. The EPC constructor mode is one of the general engineering contracting modes, which has all the relevant characteristics of the general engineering contracting mode, but it is more complicated than the normal project. Next to the characteristics of EPC contract, which includes clear power and responsibility interface. The general contractor bears greater risks and mainly suitable for large engineering projects. As you can see, this a pattern. Since the establishment of the EPC contract model strictly define the responsibilities and rights between the owners and the general contractor from the legal level, it also overcomes the disadvantages of design, procurement, and construction of the project, and concentrates technical and management advantages on the project. The implementation of the whole process of rational, cross-cutting, and dynamic management provides a strong support and guarantee. We can division of responsibilities between the two sides as follows. For owner, they cannot change the terms of the contract and need to define the expected purpose of the construction project, completion the test, and the performance standard, and make sure the contents that contractor put forth and are able to verify. If during the contract implementation process, if the norms or standards in the contract have changed, if the law has changed or the owner's provisions have new standards, then they change. If the should be dealt with by the owners. The owner also need to bear the consequences as well. For the contractor, first, since EPC contracts often involve the contractor's investment issues, including deferred payment, This requires the constructor to have certain financing capabilities. Secondly, the contractor shall undertake the technical training and operation guidance of the owner's personnel until the owner's operating personnel can independently manage the operation and management of the production equipment. And last one is if the contractor's design documents have errors, the contractors need to correct it at their own expense. The last two more obvious features are the contractor has a wide range of work, and the contractor includes design, equipment, procurement, construction, material supply, equipment installation, warranty, and so on. Therefore, the contractor bears greater risks in the EPC contract. Secondly, it is mainly applicable to large-scale infrastructure projects. Next, my partner will discuss the flaws in the EPC contract.
After discuss the characteristic of EPC contract, let's move on to the EPC contract risks. I separated for 3 parts. The first part, it includes the implementation of EPC contract often involves certain professional technical patterns or technical secrets. In the course of the project, EPC contracts often have some intellectual property disputes. So while completing the construction of the project, the contractor must also pass on the patent intellectual property rights of his professional technology to the operation and management personnel of the owner. Now, some contractors do not pay enough attention to such incidents, leading to greater risks in the use of intellectual property rights. The second part related to project assessment risk. EPC contracts often involve the contractor's investment issues, including deferred payment. This requires the contractor to have certain financing capabilities. For EPC general contracting contracts, due to the large scale, both owners and the contractors use external financing for construction. They need to use some larger financing support to ensure the completing implementation of the project. For owners, they need to use money to pay for the contractors to make them finish the project. And for contractors, they need to find some company to help them spread the risk of owners defaulting. So it is essential for owners and contractors to find and afford this financing mechanism. Through the assessment, there will be some risks in the process of assessment, which includes understanding the owner's stress, past goodwill, project background, project approval, and sources of construction funds. And the third part is related to claim risk. Most intelligent building of EPC mode in domestic development was still in the stage of exploration, and intelligent EPC mode in our country's relevant laws and regulations is not perfect. The most is type of contract a fixed price contract. The employer will most of the risk transfer to the contractor, and through a clause in the contract agreement, not to price adjustment. The contractor can make fewer claims, so the contractor is more likely to have economic losses and longer periods. And also, in the process of EPC project contract implementation, most of the contract responsibilities are unclear, and there is a lack of comprehensive definition and specific, clear descriptions of the corresponding rights and responsibilities of each part. In the contract event, the specific consequence of breach of contract and the handling methods is too important. There are relatively few restrictive clauses for owners, especially the agreements on breach of contract, and the compensation for owners are not specific and clear. And also there is a lack of effective punishment methods. So let's move on to the solutions of these risks.
Well, as one of my partner has said about 3 risks in the EPC contract risks before, then I like to come up with 3 measures to deal with those risks. Firstly, like our group member said, the EPC contracts often involve certain professional technical patents and secrets. So the constructor must do a good job in the pre-qualification and binding decision making. They need to carefully study the binding documents and then analyze project business conditions. The project business conditions, which includes the source of funds, the payment overview, the tax regulations, and the insurance regulations. What's more, the situation of the owner must be taken into consideration. In the end, they need to determine whether to initiate the project. And the next risk is that the constructors must have some investment issues. So, as for the constructor, they need to pay more attention to the payment issues. They need to consider whether the contract price is reasonable, and then strictly control the ratio of advance payment and warranty money. Then to divide the milestone payment into stages. What's the milestone payment? The project payment paid in accordance with the progress of the project was called the milestone payment. Then they need to prevent owners to postpone the milestone payments. What's more, the effective of the contract must be based on all the advance payment from the owner. It's really important. Then we'd like to talk about the claims management. As the constructor's awareness of claims is relatively weak, so we need to enhance claim management from 2 aspects. Firstly, the constructor must establish and improve a claim management or organization system. And on the other hand, they need to cultivate the sense of compensation for all employees. We'd like to talk about those responsibilities of various departments in the claim process. Firstly, as for the contractor department, the responsibility of them is to study contract clauses, formulate claim plans, organize claims coordination meetings, write claim reports, and negotiations for claims. And then the cost department should cooperate with the construct department to provide related claim cost calculations. About the engineering department, they will assist in the preparation of the claim plan and optimizes the design and collects on-site claim evidence. And the finance department, they will provide financial index-related claims information, and the materials department provides transportation and materials related to the claim materials. The general department is responsible for filling and issuing the claim files. Well, on the other hand, it's necessary to cultivate talents for contract management. Firstly, the contract department of the constructors, they need to teach those risk knowledge to all employees. And it's necessary for every manager to enhance the constructor and claim awareness, because in this way, they can quickly identify claim opportunities. What's more, unifying the management and multi-departmental cooperation is also important. That's the end of